Hello, so in this video we'll be discussing the second link of condition-dependent origination, that of Kamma formations, sankharas. So just to reiterate that the reason I'm going this way through Paticca Samuppada is because it's the way that the Buddha first introduced all these links, and what we're interested in is the necessary condition that gives rise to the subsequent link. So in this case we're asking the question, what is it that gives rise to resultant consciousness and the arising of mind-body processes? And the reason is because of prior volitional activities undertaken with a view of self. So the Law of Kamma states that any action which is undertaken in body, speech and mind with a dualistic mindset, that is the belief in myself as a separate entity, those actions must produce results which must be experienced. So there has to be subsequent conscious experience for those resultants to produce their fruits. Unwholesome actions, that is out and out selfish activities, produce explicit suffering. There will be pain, grief, sorrow, despair. Wholesome activities, that is relatively unselfish actions such as practicing loving kindness, being kind, being generous, those produce positive resultants, that is pleasant resultants. They'll be pleasant. So the suffering is not explicit. Is it suffering at all? Yes, it is, because those results cannot be depended upon, and the whole mind-body, the flux of mind-body process cannot be depended on. It's all very unsatisfactory in an ultimate sense. So even though wholesome activities produce pleasant mind-body experiences, those experiences are nonetheless transient too. So there is no safety in any of it, in any of this. There is no safety in any of it. It is inherently unsatisfactory, but only if you identify the mind-body processes as being me, mine, or myself. If there is no identification, if there is no reducing down through identification with mind and body, then what you're left with is the great mystery of existence, but free from the clinging and grasping that leads to suffering. So in terms of the 12 links of Paticca Samuppada, you notice that Kamma formations forms part of past Kamma process. It is equivalent to links 8, 9 and 10, craving, clinging, becoming. But in expressing it as Kamma formations, the Buddha is introducing the idea that all actions undertaken with a view of self, this active process, are productive of results and therefore ultimately suffering, not just unwholesome actions, if you see what I mean. So, and we need to be clear that the active component is volition. Some people take it that it is the intention that's all important. The intention is like the rudder on the back of your boat. It sets the direction, but you need the engine, and so volition is like the engine. It is the activity itself which is productive of future results. So, as in the saying, the way to hell, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Just because you have the intention doesn't mean that you follow through with the action. So if you don't follow through with the action, then the intention is pretty worthless. So it is very much the case that it is the actual actions of body, speech and mind that give rise to future resultants. So, which is very interesting. That has so many implications. and can be so badly misinterpreted. Some people, because the implication is that the conditions with which you have met in this lifetime are right for you. The kind of family that you were born into, the kind of parents that you had, the kind of, your early life conditioning, where you were brought up, the degree of material comfort that you have, the kind of incidents that occur in your life are actually right for you because they are your karmic inheritance, and people balk at that because they wrongly attribute blame, and so they're saying, oh, you're blaming people for being poor, or for being differently abled, for being born without full faculties of physical faculties and mental faculties, and there is no blame. Understanding Paticca Samuppada is the release from all that blaming, from all those resentments, from all that bitterness. It is what allows you to be truly empowered and to become the true captain of your ship, and to be able to direct that rudder and send that boat in the direction that you want it to go, i.e. towards maximising happiness and comfort and minimising unhappiness and discomfort through taking ownership of your actions. And so what Paticca Samuppada is saying, and what this second link is saying, is that it is our actions undertaken in the past lives, actions in this lifetime too, that bring us to this state of affairs now. It's not the government, it's not your parents, it's not the education system, it's not capitalism, it's not the patriarchy. Careful, Paul, careful. It's none of those things. It's Kamma, the law of Kamma. And this is not speculative, it's not a blind belief. The whole purpose of practicing Vipassana meditation is to actually come to see these processes unfolding in real time. You can see in real time how the arising of a sankhara, which itself is a response to conditions, with the added component of self-view, then produces resultants based on the ethical quality of that sankhara, of that action. It's none of this is speculative, none of this is just blind belief. It's happening. This is what is unfolding right now. So for somebody who practices mindfulness, who learns to discriminate, in the most positive sense of the word, learns to discriminate accurately the components of their experience and how those components fit together in this matrix of conditioned and conditioning phenomena, and actually sees the links between things, actually comes to see Paticca Samuppada unfolding, that is hugely powerful, because it means that they see the truth that their actions have results. And as a consequence, that meditator then undertakes this process of learning which are the actions which produce the sorrow, the lamentation, the grief, the despair, the pain, the sense of frustration, the sense of irritation, whatever it might be. And they learn to minimize those. And they learn through experience which are the actions that produce the happiness, the pleasure, genuine pleasure, the comfort, the well-being, and so forth. And they actively promote those actions. So progressively, you find that through that restraint and through that development, you experience greater and greater levels of happiness and peace and well-being. This is even before we're talking about enlightenment here. We're just talking about paying proper mindful attention to what's unfolding. So you become master of your boat, you become captain of your boat, and you set sail and you direct the rudder in whichever direction you want to go. And it's free from blame. And so it's not about blaming anyone, but what you have to do is take ownership of the conditions, proper responsibility for the conditions that you have met with in this lifetime and meet with now. And so one of the things that you let go, the things that you let go of are resentments, bitterness, blame, and you take responsibility for your actions and you learn about how life actually works. So Paticca Samuppada is hugely powerful, hugely powerful. And you could say, in fact I will say, we are in the process of coding our future right now. So, and there are two aspects to that. There's the aspect of taking responsibility and learning to use volition wisely. And on the other hand, there's the recognition that these are all, in ultimate terms, these are all impersonal processes. I've been reading recently about DNA and how all these enzymes and amino acids and proteins are in a perpetual state of coding, being coded and creating cells. And that process is a so we're just talking about the material processes there, but that is an impersonal process. You don't know how it's happening right now. Your body is producing cells right now, what you call your body. The body is producing cells right now. Do you know how that's happening? No, you don't. That's the great wonder, that's the great mystery. And yet, to bring the analogy back to Paticca Samuppada, that is exactly what's happening with condition-dependent origination. It is this wonderful, mysterious process of the coming together, the momentary coming together of conditions, mind and body processes arising in the moment and then ceasing instantly to be replaced with another set of conditions and ceasing instantly. So it is this mind-body processes are in a state of perpetual flux, which means they are deeply malleable, which means that if there is a skillful approach to understanding sankharas, Kamma formations, it's so malleable that you can transform your life and your perception of life in that way. So it's well worth pursuing insight wisdom, because it's not just an intellectual possibility. You come to see that it is actually unfolding. Now, on a related note, these mind-body processes, there is no underlying field of awareness. These conditioned phenomena are not arising out of some amorphous permanent field. That's just another belief. There is literally just the coming together of the conditions arising now and ceasing now. They do not persist through time. So everything is being coded in real time. It's unfolding in real time. All there is what is unfolding right now. There is no underlying safety net. There is no security. It is so ephemeral existence. I know it to the mind that has not investigated deeply into the arising of conditions and conditioning phenomena. It feels so solid. I know it feels so absolutely dependable in that sense. But literally, you are never the same for 2 moments. The mind-body process, including external phenomena, are so ephemeral and illusory. So and there is no other static, unchanging quality to it. There is just the arising and passing, or literally the arising of an object and the consciousness that knows it, and the sense phenomena that's required, and the feeling component and the perception component. Yeah, there are always just these momentary instances which arise and pass away, and there is nothing else. And so that is hugely profound, because it is through the recognition of that comes the acknowledgement that grasping after the view of self and reducing one's perception of what is unfolding and creating this duality of me, this idea of me that is separate from the rest of existence, that is then confronted by such an insubstantial reality, the unbearable lightness of being, that causes it to want to create solidity, to create certainty, to create security, and is in that moment of the realization, or not the realization, the assumption of selfhood, that basic fundamental division, talking about cells, that basic first fundamental division, which is the beginning of suffering. And it is from that basic division into me and everything which is other, so taking the whole and attempting to divide it in that way, that is the birth of Kamma formation. Right there. So, can you see, again, I've done it again. I can't talk about Kamma formations without introducing the link preceding that. So I've already started talking about avijja, ignorance. But we'll come on to that more next time. I think I've said everything that I want to say. If anyone got any questions about any of this, I know you're watching. But yeah, if you have any questions, then you're very welcome to post them below, and I'll attempt to answer them for you. But apart from that, until the next time, take care.